If you are just joining us for 13 News Now at noon, we are covering breaking news off the coast of Virginia Beach. A military helicopter is down, 5 people in the water. The Coast Guard and the Navy confirming that.
Yeah, we're talking about a CH-53E. It's a large Navy helicopter, and we do have several crews on the way to the scene, but we also have 13 News Now anchor Sandra Parker standing by in the newsroom, gathering the latest breaking details for us. Do we have Sandra available right now? Okay, Sandra's still working on getting more information for us. Let's recap what we know right now.
Virginia Beach Fire and Rescue, they're on standby to go out there if needed. The weather conditions much better today than yesterday, even though it is cold, and we are concerned about the 5 people who went down in the water. The Coast Guard saying, a Coast Guard crew, Sandra was telling us, was 2 miles away from the crash scene. That's good news. They can get out there very quickly. A lot of crews mobilizing right now to try to rescue these 5 people in the water off the coast of Virginia Beach.
Yeah, another crew, Sandra reported to us, was also on the way out there, a smaller boat from Little Creek responding to the scene, in addition to the one that was only 2 nautical miles away from the scene at the time. So they have quite a few rescue crews heading out, both the Coast Guard, the Navy, and then, as LaSalle just mentioned, Virginia Beach Fire Rescue standing by at the 100 block of Atlantic Avenue, which is a staging area for others who might be needed to go out and find these 5 crew members that were on this helicopter when it went down. Now, no word yet on what may have caused the helicopter to go down in the water about 20 miles from Cape Henry.
Yeah, we got this word. It's 12:02 right now. Just about an hour ago, we were looking into this.
Yeah.
So everything is still fluid. It is very early. I want to go back to Weather Authority meteorologist Evan Stewart, because, Evan, I want to ask you about conditions. As we said, it's 12:02 as we hit 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. How are conditions looking throughout the afternoon?
Well, conditions really won't be too much different than where we are right now.
All right, thank you, Evan. We want to head back into the newsroom right now to get more breaking details from 13 News Now anchor Sandra Parker. Sandra, what have you learned so far this afternoon?
Well, again, guys, remember we told you that the Virginia Beach Fire Department was there in the 100 block of Atlantic Avenue.
Absolutely, and we're seeing our community mobilized to try to make sure those 5 people are rescued and safe and sound. Meantime, here we're gathering more information on this type of aircraft.
Yeah, and I'm looking here at the makers of the CH-53E Super Stallion, which is the aircraft we're talking about here, made by Sikorsky. According to their website, this is a 3-engined aircraft. It is the most powerful helicopter in the United States military inventory. It's called a Super Stallion, and it's designed for 73,500 pound external loads. This thing is big. It can lift aircraft as large as itself. It can also lift the 155 millimeter howitzer. If you're familiar with that type of stuff, you know that's a large, the howitzer is very large. It is in a helicopter squadrons that are used and usually serve aboard U.S. Marine Corps amphibious assault ships. Now, we don't have information yet on which squadron this helicopter is part of, what may have caused it to go down, but this is just some information I've located on the Sikorsky website about the CH-53E, which is called a Super Stallion. This is very large, again, and it's a very powerful aircraft. So we'll continue gathering more information for you on the aircraft itself and on where it's stationed, what part of the squadron it's part of, and what may have caused it to go down today.
And as this is developing, we are mobilizing our entire news team. This is the story we are covering right now. We want to go to 13 News Now anchor Janet Roach, who joins our live team coverage. Janet, what are you focusing on right now?
Well, LaSalle, I'm taking a look at the map on our touch screen.
We have contacted the military now. We have a big update.
Yeah, this is from the United States Coast Guard. We'd like to welcome Petty Officer First Class David Reitert. And I understand, David, you have some new information about what is happening with this rescue effort.
Yes, ma'am. We currently have the 2 Coast Guard assets, but we just received a report that a Navy helicopter on scene had picked up 4 survivors and had taken them back to Norfolk General Hospital.
4 survivors?
Yes, sir.
Do you know their conditions, or is there any word on how long they were actually in the water?
We don't have a report on their conditions at this time.
What's the status of the 5th member of this crew that's been reported as being on board when this helicopter went down?
Well, we are currently searching for the 5th member. We have the Coast Guard cutter Shearwater and a small boat from Station Little Creek involved.
So what are the conditions out there? Because you guys have your people on the ground. We know the water's cold. We know the air is cold. Can you give us a better description of what you guys are dealing with as you look for this still missing member of the military?
Yes, ma'am. The weather resource we received is from the Shearwater, our cutter. They're reporting 10-knot winds with gusts up to 15 knots an air temperature of 28 degrees and a wave height of about 1 foot.
Dave, what was your first reaction when you first heard that good news that 4 people so far, 4, have been rescued?
Well, as the Coast Guard, we always try to get out there as fast as possible, but sometimes we work with other assets or other agencies to rescue all those who need to be rescued.
How fortunate is it that you guys already had a cutter out there within 2 nautical miles of where this aircraft reportedly went down?
Well, the Coast Guard cutter Shearwater was our search and rescue duty cutter for this evolution.
So already on patrol?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
How are the 4 people who have been rescued out there? Any word on how they're doing?
We have not received word on how they are doing yet.
And can you give us any indication, there's still 1 more person out there, what will be happening now? Are you intensifying your efforts out there to find that missing person?
Well, our assets are searching, and we have reports of other assets and agencies on scene searching also.
And tell us about the training. You guys prepare for something like this.
Yes, sir. Our assets and our personnel are always training for any contingency events such as what has happened.
Are we talking about lifting these folks out of the water from a helicopter, or is it just the ships that are responding, the cutter that you have out there and the other boats? What was the scenario on the rescue of the 4 crew members that have been retrieved from the water?
Well, it does appear a Navy helicopter did lift the people out of the water. From our reports, they also dropped rafts and during the initial crash.
How long were they in the water, sir?
I wouldn't be able to speculate on the time.
All right, so your main concerns now as we move forward, again, trying to find that 5th crew member.
Yes, sir. As I said, we have assets along with partner agencies on scene, and we are continuing the search.
Thank you, Petty Officer First Class David Reitert, for your time and for this significant update on this rescue effort.
And our community, our viewers are praying for you. We're getting comments here on our Facebook page, people hearing about this news and hoping that these men will be okay. They were taken to the hospital here, as you see live on our picture right now. That is certainly a good breaking news development. At least 4 rescued right now.
This is a big development, and here's why. Because as we know, he mentioned 10-knot winds out there, gusts of up to 15 knots, 29-degree air temperature. Evan told us the water is 40 degrees, and these folks, according to reports that we have, went down around 11 o'clock this morning. It is now, as you said, 10 after 12, 12 after 12, and again, 4 members of this crew have been rescued and taken to Centaur Norfolk General Hospital. 1 person still missing, and of course, a number of assets, Coast Guard and otherwise, out there looking for that crew member.